Started out on live, man, that was the play. Streaming every night, building up the sway. But as the site faded, I had to find my way. Now I'm hopping platforms, surfing through the fray. Got my crew behind me, yeah, we call them givers. Chillin' IRL, catching all the rivers. Farkle in the chat, bringing loss to the grind. Talking crypto games while we sipping Jack Fine. Gives a minute, yeah, we take our time. Living in the moment, the life's a subtle rhyme. From the land down under, streaming through the night. New Zealand vibes, surfing waves day to night. Always looking for the next thrill, that's where I ignite. Community so solid, always shining bright. Rolling deep and cruising for the height. From the struggle to the stream, it's all just a game. But with the giver found, we're making our name. Jack and crypto profits, life just gets sweeter. Every view and every stream, making life a keeper. Give us a minute, yeah, we take our time. Living in the moment, the life's a subtle rhyme. From the land down under, streaming through the night. Got my heart on my sleeve, everything feels right. So here's to the journey, no regrets in sight. Each laugh and each tear, it's a beautiful fight. Keep the wave rolling, let the good vibes flow. We're the givers, together in the show. Gives a minute, yeah, we take our time. Living in the moment, the life's a subtle rhyme. From the land down under, streaming through the night. Got my heart on my sleeve, everything feels right. Script is how we play a game. From start to next, I'm chasing fame. With the gear behind me, changing scenes. So through the internet, living out the dream. Got my acoustic strum, keeping it chill for our cracking jokes. Go stop the thrill, and then the kiwis we ride the waves. Our streams phone, no better days. Gives a minute, yeah, we take our time. Living in the moment, the life's a subtle rhyme.
Hello, the internet. It is Thursday, the 4th of December 2025, and welcome back to the channel. Remind me, I still haven't fixed, I don't even know, but I think that that's doubled up audio, and every single time I start a stream, I remember that I haven't checked it and fixed it if it is doubling up. So just one of those things that's slipped my mind over the last little while my mind has been elsewhere. As the stream title does say, I pooed myself this morning, and well, I'm going to tell you the story of how it went down, and I'm also going to try to do it in. I mean, it's weird. This me pooing myself made me sad for my ex, and this is going to require explaining. And it is a bit. I mean, I'm doing good, right? I'm doing well. I've moved on. I've done the right thing. Haven't made any contact. Haven't done anything stupid. I've just left it and I've accepted it and I've moved on. However, my body is still working through the process, and the fact that I shat myself this morning reminded me so beautifully about some things that my ex and I used to share. And instead of getting down about it and feeling sad about it, I want to share it with you and then just remember the good times. You know when someone leaves, you lose someone, either they pass away or they move away, or in this instance it's a breakup, and you suddenly you just get, it's just ripped out of your existence, right? For me, it was very abrupt and just, it's a snap off. You can still remember the good, right? There is still a way to, once you get past feeling shit, you can start to feeling shit, funnily enough. Once you get past that feeling, you can then just remember the good. And the good, well, first of all, let me tell you the story. Here's the poo stains on my bed this morning. So what happened? So I woke up, and as I'm doing these days, I am trying to go for my phone last, right? The last thing that I do, because it would have been the first thing that I did before when I was with my ex. I would go for my phone because she has such an unusual sleep schedule, and I'd always be trying to work out, or we always tried to get her to take her meds before midnight, and then I would just wake up and see what she did, and then without these glasses on, I tried to read my phone, but I'd always then send her a voice recording of my dreams. So I'm trying to do, because if I keep doing the same thing, like going for my phone like I used to, then it just reminds you of that. So instead I'm trying to do things that are like different. And so this morning, being the first night that I woke up, or the first morning I've woke up from a night with no drugs, no sleeping pills, nothing. Now you could argue, well, you had some Jack yesterday. Yeah, I had 3 Jack on the stream, finished the stream at about 5:30. Actually, no, then I had some more. Okay, so I was a bit cheesy last night when I went to bed, but it still meant a lot to me that I didn't need to use any sleeping pills or anything else to help me sleep. And so I woke up and I felt pretty good. I know that sounds weird, but I did. I felt pretty good. I have definitely finally come to the realization that I'm in the clear. I haven't done anything wrong here, so there's no reason to beat myself up every 5 minutes. I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and this is just coincidental, but I'm watching the show Alone, and I'm watching it and I'm eating breakfast and having a cup of tea, and I realize I've got to do a fart, and I just fart, and it's a horribly stinky, wet, hot liquid, not gaseous. It's a liquid. And it's just, and I've gone, oh, that's a shot. Ah, no. And so I've just lifted myself up off the bed, clenched those butt cheeks together, and then did the little penguin hobble to the bathroom, trying to squeeze the remaining whatever's coming out back up. And I get in there and I have to have a full clothes shower. And that's the part that made it through my pajamas onto the bed sheets. And the point of this, I guess, the way that this made me initially sad, but now trying to think of just the good of it, is that when I was with my ex, we had, this is kind of personal, I suppose, but one of the rad things about her was that she can shit super quick and no trace of it. So we would often send pictures of, it sounds, when I'm saying it, it doesn't sound normal, but this is how rad it was. We would send pictures. Actually, she would send more. I'd send a few, but she would send photos of her toilet paper, the result, like take a shit, take a wipe, and then take a photo and send it. And I fucking loved that about her. I thought that's pretty rad, right? That's pretty intimate. That's pretty close. And so I would normally have shared this with her. Instead, I'm sharing this with you. Will I share all of my shits with you? No. But this is so close to this breakup that I had to share it with somebody, right? I can't not share this. This photograph would have been sent directly to her in the morning saying, hey, guess what happened? I shat myself. I can't send it to her. I mean, I can. I know I can. I stupidly dug her number out. By the way, I was doing some yard work this morning to change my mind and do some. I was down in the yard, down the front, doing some cutting and crap, and I got so many cuts. And then I went for a surf too. Look at all the cuts on my arm. I went for a surf this morning and didn't film it. That's weird. I did not take my cameras. And by the way, board shorts, no cameras, straight up surfing. To be completely fair though, part of me was wondering whether there might have been another shit coming, and I figured if I was in the ocean, I could just, let it out and no one would ever be the wiser. Yeah, so I got to tell you, I have never had a relationship with a partner who would let. This is going to make me sad. I used to like watching her pee. She'd come and grab me. I'd never had that kind of a relationship with a partner who was that open about everything, to the point where from Tasmania I'd get photos of her shits. And that is, as weird as it sounds, that is a bit heartbreaking to think that I will. Am I actually going to say the words? It's a bit heartbreaking to think that I won't ever get a photograph of her shit again. Yeah, it is. So be it. If you think I'm a weirdo, I already know I'm a weirdo. I already know I'm a weird individual. Half of that went in my mouth. I've known that for a long time. My problem is finding someone that's compatible with that weirdness. And I did. And then she dumped me. So my struggle now is to either keep my weirdness to myself and stifle it, and no one needs to stifle that weird shit, or share it with you. And by the way, I completely realized there is absolutely nobody here. My live content is as dead as my relationship. Right? All of this is just going. I mean, I don't even know why. I do know why I'm doing it. It keeps my mind occupied. But this content, this channel, this everything just means so little to me that I just don't give a flying fuck anymore. And yeah. What I've done today, after working in the yard and going for a surf, I played back my entire 1 hour or 50-minute counsel session from yesterday. And I'm so thankful she let me record that, because it was really good to listen back to it. It's weird. There was one thing that she said that was completely contradictory to ChatGPT. Like, I've been using ChatGPT to help me through this process, this grieving process. And there was one thing that the actual clinical psychologist said, which was completely different to ChatGPT. And I was like, I almost want to go into ChatGPT and say, you know what you advised me? The actual real doctor advised me the exact opposite. But ultimately it doesn't make a difference. And I'm doing what I know I need to do, and I've done it, and there's no, like, I'm not faltering. I've done that. Like yeah. Anyway, had a great phone call last night from someone who helped a lot, and it sounds weird, but the help was because they're going through a struggle of their own, and so then I could take my mind off, my situation. That's a bit selfish though, right? Like if I'm getting relief from someone else's problems, that doesn't sound right. There's no right or wrong with this, is there? Like, yesterday I said from now on, no more talk of the ex. And if this poo thing hadn't have come up, well, I know myself. I know I'm going to be, for a long while, I'll be talking about her. I know that. I tried to instill this rule, and no, like at least let's just agree that we're just going to call her the ex. We're not going to name her. We're not going to give her that sort of, because if you name someone, then you start to, I don't know, you bring them back into the forefront. And so if I just call her my ex, it's almost as if it's one of the many exes. Yeah. It's fucking sad though. Yeah. Anyway, well, I shat myself. And does this make it worse? I didn't wash the sheets. I did get a face washer with water and I rubbed it, like I scrubbed it, but I didn't actually physically take the sheets off and wash them. Yeah. That's just admitting I got nothing to hide here. As the Gives a Minute intro song Living in the Moment does say, I noticed this today. By the way, that's not me writing that. That's AI that wrote it. But it said, with my heart on my sleeve. I'm like, yeah, my heart's always on my sleeve. And that needs to change. I need to put that heart back, right? Like, you shouldn't have the heart on the sleeve. You should have the heart tucked away for no fucker to mess with it, because that's what's gone on here. That is what's happened here. I reluctantly gave myself to someone, and ultimately they didn't want it. They said they did, and then they didn't. So that's what's the core of my dilemma here. Oh, we're not going to talk about that, are we? No, we're not. Hey, Woz, how you doing? Wash them sheets and reduce X-Talk. You need to focus on other things. Exactly. Thank you, man. The sheets are good. I scrubbed them. They're clean. I do want to move on, though, and grab a coffee and a cookie, and then we'll just come back in. And, I mean, we can either go back and look at Ghost Town Living. We got a lot of catching up on Toothboy. Or we can take a look at the Tipsy Panda, which is my nephew's friend's channel. Just something to kind of occupy. Look, I don't really, like, I'm doing this more for my sanity than with all respect, Woz, you're here. You're the only person here. I'm doing this for my own sanity. And if I wasn't streaming, I'd probably be, I'll be honest, I've been watching TV, and I've been a boring house person, like watching, like when I say TV, I mean like just turning on SBS On Demand and going to the live TV channel and just whatever's live on television. And I tell you, who watches that shit? Like, what the hell? Like ads and stuff, like commercials. It was horrible. But I've just been trying to, I don't know, I guess I should go back to work soon sometime. I mean, if I'm not going to just be boring and sitting around moping and just, actually going back to work will be a struggle, but I got this festival on the weekend. I'm looking forward to that. And then I haven't really thought about anything else to look forward to. It's just so fucking horrible. Man. All right, I'm going to stop. I'm going to go and grab myself a coffee, come back in, and we'll just watch some shit. I'll be right back. All right, I apologize. I was a little longer than I thought. I'm good. Yeah, I'm fine. Tipsy Panda, the channel, Baxter's my nephew. Tipsy Panda is a channel that his friend from school made. We were looking at it a little whiles ago. We were watching a bit of it, and we came in and out, and I think it's time we go back in and have a little look and just see. By the way, I've got to deal with that too. It's time we take our mind off shit. So where were we when we first started watching this channel? It was a while ago. I think we're up to this one, Stockholm. I believe Stockholm is the one we're up to. It's either that or Ghost Town Living, and how much does 1 ounce of silver cost to make? Now this might all be super boring, but you know, I don't know. I'm not really liking my life at the moment. Not really. Got nothing really to look forward to. And it's coming up to Christmas too. Like, what a horrible time of the year. The other thing too that really pisses me off is that at Christmas time, I dump all of my phone onto a hard drive, so I free up space for the coming year. And while I've removed all of the photographs, anyway, I'm not even going to fucking bring this up. But anyway, it's just super depressing. And let's just fucking try to change the subject. Watch this. You got lots to look forward to. It's just about finding interesting things to focus your time on. Yeah, but I it's nice to say that, but I don't really. Like, I don't. I used to look forward to spending time with her. I used to look forward to messaging her. Anyway, fuck.
All right, so yesterday we went to a pub and we got lit with this man right here.
Yeah. Good day, mate.
G'day, mate. And so today...
Avoid stuff that you did together. Interesting. Avoid the stuff that you did together. Yeah. Avoid the stuff you did together. That's weird, man. The whole area reminds me of her. Fuck.
I'm about to have breakfast at a place called Baba's. We've travelled to a train station like 30 minutes away, and we're just sitting down, gonna eat breakfast, and we're gonna head to a place called
Uppsala. So it's like a city which has many universities, so there should be many beautiful girls and women.
Exactly, and that's what we're after.
It is like 1 hour from Stockholm, so we're heading there on the train.
Exactly.
With my mate.
Exactly, yeah.
By the way, what I find interesting about this channel, and by the way, this is the gentleman who owns it, Zalian, this guy here, is such a new vlogger that he explains everything. Like, we're sitting here, we're going to go and get breakfast, we're going to pay with money, they're going to give it to us on a tray, we're going to eat it. It's just all super vloggy details, which is kind of good for me, I guess. It's kind of distracting and funny. Like, I would never create content like this, but I have done, but I would never do it now.
With Tipsy.
Like this train sequence. Okay, you're on a train. We get it. Like, come on, man. This sequence should have been maybe 4 or 5 seconds maximum. Then again, who am I to talk, right? Like my plank videos just go on and on and on and on and on, like waffle, waffle, waffle. By the way, that should be interesting. Can I just stop for a moment and talk about the X? That should be interesting coming up next year, because all of the plank videos that I've done, you guys haven't seen, but they literally go through the year, and it gets up to a May, and then slowly you start hearing a little bit about this person. I'm really looking forward and not looking forward to. But then again, that's what I just said. You can remember the good times. So that's remembering the good times. The bad thing about that is you got to wait till May for it to start. So if you can hang out till May. And then, yeah, I tried to plank the other day when I was working, or the one day I did a shift and I just couldn't complete it. The first time out of 2 years that I couldn't complete a plank was because my head wasn't there and I was crying while planking. So the project arguably was completed at the end of last year, and then this year was just a little bit of a bonus. But yeah, I could not finish a plank. Damn, it's kind of sad.
Okay, so now we are in Uppsala. Artie here wants to grab a bit of Coke. Sorry, coffee. That's right. Coffee, because he's a bit tired. And we've realised there is not much to see here apart from.
Tell them about the girl.
Yes.
The girl.
We managed to chat up a girl on the train. On the train.
Yep.
And the bloke over here got his her Instagram.
So
Instagram.
hopefully tonight I don't stay alone at my place.
But we're walking in the main town, city centre sort of thingy, and we're off to find a little local coffee shop.
That's pretty weird. Not the first choice of place I'd go to.
Alright, so we were just in the university.
We're studying a little bit.
We're studying.
It is a private library, but the guy gave us a key. So
because we are also students at the campus, and we forgot our key card.
We just lost it.
We lost it, and so we needed to get in, and we just asked someone to get in. And
Life is hustle.
exactly. Just like
Like
I am temporary Ukrainian citizen for train ticket.
Ukrainian?
Yeah,
Huh?
I just have like, look, 2 passports. One is expired, one is negative. And I gave him one to get inside. And the fucking security
hell?
guy was like, "Are you Ukrainian, mate?"
How do you use a fake passport? It's got a photo of you in there. They don't look anything like each other.
I look Ukrainian.
I'm
Of
like,
course I
yeah,
do.
he's Asian Ukrainian. Like, of course he is.
Jesus.
And we've got the church up there, which we're going to go look at now. In this town, it is looks very.
Maybe I
very
should
nice.
go traveling. Maybe I should go traveling. I'm a single man. Maybe I should get out there and travel. The obvious option would be to go somewhere in Australia, right? Like with GoVan. Maybe I need to think about that. Maybe I really need to think about that. I mean, I was about to do a Tasmanian road trip, but now there's a whole other country, a whole other portion of the country that I could explore. Maybe I'll go back up to the tropics. I always wanted to be around all the tropical, like all the frogs and stuff. What was that noise? I don't know. Probably the house settling.
This is my recommendation. If you ever come to Sweden, get the fucking.
You can't swear.
Oh, sorry. The beautiful, the tastiest drink ever.
Yes, exactly. So we're just walking around now. It looks pretty cool. What would you say about the architecture? Yeah.
I'm in love with it. Not like architecture, but look at that one big girl. No. No. They're too beautiful for me. I don't know.
Exactly. But all the architecture here is very, very nice and bright. But also some of it is utilitarian. It's very yeah, very beautiful. And we have the church up here as well. Well, what we guess is the church anyway. We're going into the church now.
Whoa, that's some big doors.
Parts of the video?
Oops, slow.
I just send you onto YouTube.
We have to remember.
Wow. That's epic.
Very tall.
I'd love to plank in every room of that place. Actually, that's what I should. I'm going to come up with these random ideas of things I should do now. Maybe I should go and plank, continue the plank project, but do it in like scenic, like indoor areas. I've done all the outdoor stuff, although you guys haven't seen it yet, but all the outdoor stuff is coming up this year. And maybe I should continue planking. I think if I do continue my planking or a version of that planking project, I'm going to be doing it and releasing the video the next day. I'm not doing this, do it the year after on the day again. Like that is the dumbest thing ever, right? Because yeah, like you're going to literally see plank videos from Tasmania when that happened in September. And now like what's the point? Like it's I didn't factor in that we would not be together, I guess. I didn't factor anything in, to be completely fair. But now that I think about it, it was a dumb decision to just not post those immediately. Because then they'd be buried and dusted. They'd be buried and I would have moved on from it, because now it's going to serve as a reminder as well. But then again, you can remember the good times. There needs to be, what's going to have to happen for me, there needs to be a bigger separation of time until I can remember the good times and not get emotional about how it ended. If that time frame gets bigger, which obviously it will with time, then I know that I'll be, and by the way, that's good because those plank videos don't come out until, you won't hear about her until May. So I've got, 4 months, January, February, March, April, May, 5 months. Oh, 6 if you include December. So I feel like I'm good. It's just that I shat myself this morning, and that would be a great message to send her. Just, hey, take a look at this. What do you think happened here? And I don't know, but I reckon she would have said, "How could you shoot yourself when you're that close to a bathroom? It's like you can almost roll and get into the bathroom." If anyone can do it, I can, and I have done. I'll probably do it again.
So beautiful.
Whoa.
Okay, so we have a €5.
This guy is an idiot. He bought this one for 10 euros. I bought this one for 3 euros.
Yeah,
And the milk for free.
yeah, that's
Take a look.
unfortunate.
Fika.
It's a very nice cafe.
Fika is a Swedish word for afternoon tea, so snack or late tea.
In the botanical gardens now, and it is
Wait, that's a garden?
snowing. It is snowing a little bit, isn't it?
It is.
But yeah, as it is, we are in winter and everything is dead. So
We're going to that one soon.
yeah, we're going into the greenhouse. So hopefully it's a bit warmer in there as well. Alright, so we forgot our student cards yet again.
We just
And-
forgot our money and
Yeah.
we got in somehow.
We just accidentally forgot our student cards, and we're now in the Museum of Evolution. So we just saved 20 euros.
200 krona.
200 krona from forgetting our student ID cards and
There was
forgetting.
no one at the reception, so we just ran on the top of the on the top floor, and we got into the museum. That's it.
So we're going to a castle now. Haven't been to the castle yet. It looks like it overviews most of Uppsala. And then after that, you're going off to the airport, and I'm going back to the hostel, and hopefully make some more friends. On the
He hasn't.
castle.
What the? Why is there music coming out of my HomePod in the bathroom? I thought I was in the video. Hey Siri, what's this?
This is Selfish by Charlotte Day Wilson.
This is Selfish by Charlotte Day Wilson. Hey Siri, why are you playing it? Hey Siri, why are you playing this? This is Selfish by Charlotte Day Wilson. I didn't ask you what it was. Hey Siri, stop playing this shit. I genuinely thought that was coming from this Stockholm video, and I thought it was out of only in my left channel. I was like, why is it only coming out of my left channel? And I took my ear off and I was like, it's coming out of my bathroom. What did we? By the way, if I had have said something enough to trigger SIRI, wouldn't you think the ones that are sitting right next to me would go off? I've got two of them. They're big. They're obvious. They're within earsight. There's one there. There's one there. Why would that not go off and the one in the bathroom goes off instead? Doesn't make any sense. Aero Gamer just popping in, heading down the beach as it's 34 degrees. Have a great stream, Gibbs. Thanks, man. Yeah, it's oh, that's Doug, right? Dougski, yeah, on his son's account. Yeah. It's 32 here or something. Hey Siri, temperature. It answered in there again. Hey Siri, temperature.
It's about 27 degrees outside.
Okay, it's dropped down 27, but thank you. Yeah, Dusky, yeah. Zippo Man, speaker in the toilet. Yeah, I've got a HomePod Mini in the bathroom to listen to podcasts while I shower, and it's been great. Yeah, I'd like to have it in the actual shower, but they're not waterproof, so instead it's on the other side of the recess. But it's pretty good to just, you're here, like maybe I'm having breakfast or something and shitting myself, and I'm listening to a podcast, and then I can just change the output to the HomePod, and I just go in there and keep listening. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Of Uppsala.
You need to do that. It's good. It's
over there.
Get one of those little small ones, like if you're, I don't know if you've got the Apple ecosystem or if whatever, but the smallest HomePod seems to work. They just work the same, just a bit. You don't need super good, like audiological, stereophonic, all that crap. You just need a good little speaker, and that one works fine.
Castle of the King, that's right. We have the cannons overlooking the church and the rest of the city. We have some massive, probably a tack bell or something like that. But you get a pretty good overlook of the surrounding place. So we managed to get lost in another museum.
That's what I was going to say. Zalian hasn't explained who this gentleman is that he's met. Is it someone he's known or someone he met at the hostel? He hasn't really explained it. He explains everything else, but...
Yeah, they had a TV. We were just looking for the bathroom, weren't we? Yeah, I don't speak English. I don't speak proper English anyway. He doesn't speak English. Yeah, it's Russian, so... You're on the desk there.
That's...
Can't wait till she moves. Yeah, that's good. Then we go to another hall. I have to do some drawing.
That's my masterpiece.
Huh?
And the main parts.
Yeah, well, that can't go on YouTube.
That's her little arms. And the smile on the face, I forgot about it. She'll be smiling.
Hang it in the Louvre, mate. Hang it in the Louvre.
Nice.
It's been a very good morning today. I woke up very late, but I figured I better get some breakfast, so I picked up my Too Good To Go. Met some people at the Too Good To Go store. It was very good. Nice to chat to people, just chat to anyone really, and ask some questions, ask them about their life here in Stockholm, and figure I may as well eat my breakfast in front of whatever that thing is there. The fashion here is very rich fashion, I've got to say, but it does look good. Here's the view in front of some palace building.
I can't
Very rich
recall.
place, I think, on that.
Stockholm. Yeah, we went there. I can't remember it. Onslow, Stockholm, Malmo. Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, look at the architecture here. All this architecture can be here because I'm guessing it wasn't flattened in the world wars. But it looks very good here. It's a nice, bright, sunny day, and easy to sit down and have breakfast in. Now, I haven't got any hostel mates to hang out with today, but I've got to say it feels so good to have just a mate to hang out with and get up to mischief with, as we did yesterday. But I'm sure we can have equally almost as much fun today, just going around to the museums and doing a bit of walking in Stockholm. Once again, breakfast is nothing special, but it's breakfast. And what's more important is the view.
It's a beautiful day.
I'm sat outside what I think is like the city hall or something. I don't know, but you got the port over there, and you've just got everyday life happening. And I'm in Stockholm, in front of the Grand Hotel, and looking out over the National Museum over there, and just all the intricate stonework that has to be into all these buildings. You don't see it anymore.
I do recognise that.
All modern architecture, but there's
wait.
hints of modern architecture
No.
in Stockholm, but also
I'm getting the cities confused up. I'm thinking of Antwerp in Belgium. Looks a little like that.
I think I'm in like what's considered the old part of town, where all the buildings are made of stone, and like the rocks in Sydney. So that there is the National Museum, and nice lot of colourful buildings everywhere. And this, so far I've been walking along the city bank.
Good editing.
But now I want to go through some of the smaller little streets down between these really massive buildings, and it actually is very, very nice. You can just get lost. It's that far from the main street, and you just can get lost in between these massive buildings, and you may as well just give it a go. Wow, look at this.
That's cute.
I gotta say, it's a very big ankle workout. All of these are cobblestone. All the paths here are cobblestone.
Kopfstein. Headstone.
And now this is quite different to Sydney back home. Then in the middle of the bustling city, you have some very nice, just quite peaceful places that you'd think you'd be in a small town and not the capital city of Stockholm, you know? So I'm officially 17 again. I'm in the Museum of Rex, and of course it's free for people under 17. And it's pretty cool. I have AR, so if you look at it from this angle, it just looks blank. It's a room full of blank things. But if you look at it from this angle, you've got little infographics and some writing. It's pretty cool.
Wow. He can pass for a 17-year-old, sure.
So most of this museum is the Baltic Sea. And alright, so now I'm in an alcohol museum. So this is the true crime section, and this was in the time where alcohol was illegal in Stockholm, and so the lady here hid 4 litres in a shower pot, and there is the alcohol released. This lady here
Wow.
hid 2 litres in a hollow log. So that hid a third of a litre in a walking stick. Someone hid 5 litres in an overcoat, so that was wrapped around him. The true extremes alcoholics go to. It was crazy.
I wouldn't say they were alcoholics. If it was illegal, they were just hiding it because they wanted it, right? It's like, it's prohibition, wasn't it?
Just in the off street of Main Street, and look at that. That is quite picturesque.
Hey,
Different colours all the buildings are.
was that in his edit or is that me that did that?
Quite picturesque.
No, that's his edit.
Different colours.
That's his edit. I'm glad that wasn't me.
And look at that. That is quite picturesque.
Yeah, good.
Different colours all the buildings are.
Frightened me.
I could see that, you know, in the middle of winter, it's all snowy and everything, and then suddenly you just see a nice burst of colour from a building, and it's just putting a smile on your face. So this is Swedish fashion. They all have like these long trench coats, but I've never seen this before from a store. A person in a suit actually running. That must be.
Oh, look at
Now
those
this definitely
trees.
seems like a tourist trap, but what the hell? I may as well take a look at this.
You are a
Looks a bit
tourist.
like some sort of cherry blossoms or something.
That looks
I
rad.
don't know, they look pretty good, but I think you can see every man and his dog is here, so yeah. Yep. There you go. Ah, lovely.
Beautiful.
Chess. Chess goes on. And of course, for the
Wow.
and of course we can't go to Sweden without
Swedish
going to
meatballs. IKEA.
And, we got the classic Swedish meatballs. Well, I guess here they just call them meatballs, but yeah. So I'm on another morning stroll, and today we're going to the Royal Palace.
Whoa, that was quick. What did that say? You just ended the overall Stockholm 7 out of 10, affordability 4 out of 10, so it's expensive. Hostels 6 out of 10, no kitchen. Did I like it? Yes. I want to move on and watch a little Toothboy. My audience is yelling at me to do things. It's very busy in here these days. So this episode is what we're up to. Yesterday we watched, I found the real filming locations of Iron Man, Django, Tremors and more. Now we're watching How Much Does 1 Ounce of Silver Cost to Make? This is from 11 months ago. Toothboy, what you got for us?
How much time and money does it take to refine 1 ounce of silver? That is a question I've been pondering a lot up here in the abandoned mining town of Cerro Gordo, a town that once produced over $500 million worth of minerals. And living in such an infamous old mining camp, I often get asked, are you gonna get the mines going again? And
yeah, good idea.
Usually my answer is no. It makes no financial sense to get the mines going again. But given the precious metals have just hit an all-time high, maybe it is time to reevaluate that answer. So in this video, we are going to see exactly how long and how much money it takes for me to mine and refine 1 ounce of silver out of the abandoned mine right up there.
You know what? he's done this before, hasn't he? I feel like we've seen this before. He's definitely like got the raw, what's that stuff called? The galena? He went and got the galena, he harvested it, and then he smelted it. And like, I feel like we've done this before.
So over the last year, both silver and gold have gone up about 30% in price. Gold just hit an all-time high, and it seems that silver is trailing right behind it. And anytime this happens, anytime that precious metals really go on a run, mines that previously didn't make sense to operate get reopened again. You know, you see this in Australia, you see this in Canada, you see this in the United States. There's even a term called mothballing, where basically they put a mine on ice until the value of the metals reach the point where it's worthwhile to mine it. And this mine you see behind me is the Union mine here at Cerro Gordo. And that mine produced hundreds of millions of dollars worth of minerals back in the 1800s. You know, there's a report where over a 2 or 3 year stretch, 3 million ounces of silver were pulled out of this mine. That's something like $90 million in today's money. So they're pulling $20, $30 million a year.
That's a lot of money.
Of silver out of this mine. And this mine had an 80-year active life, which is just insane to me. And obviously there are costs involved with the mining. You know, you can't just pull the silver out of the ground and sell it. The silver here is contained within an ore called galena.
There you go.
Galena is
I swear he's done this before. Let's just look down a little. Yeah, I went mining for 12 hours and made question mark. I mined 50 pounds of silver ore and made my own coin. I can't find it another. The concept is being done though. Mind you, I've just done a whole year of planking videos, so who am I to say repetition isn't good? Shut up, me.
Lead, silver, silica, sulfur, some other stuff. And so basically there's cost to refining this, there's cost to transporting this, there's cost all around. And so in today's video, what I want to explore is on a small scale, how much time and money does it take me as an individual to go down into that mine you see behind me, pull out the ore, refine the ore, and get 1 ounce of pure silver. It's gonna be very interesting. It's gonna be quite a difficult process. I've done this a little bit in the past. And so with
a few times. Hey Siri, what's 1 ounce of silver worth in US dollars?
I found some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
No, you dumb. I just wanted you to tell me. Ah.
Let's go inside the mine building. And typically galena is about 1 to maybe 5% silver. A while back I refined 50 pounds of galena, and I think we got 3 or 4 ounces of it. So for this, I'm gonna need probably 10 or 15 pounds of galena just to be safe. And the miners back in the day did a pretty good job of getting all of the galena out of this mine. But after the last 4 years exploring pretty much every corner of this mine, I know that there is one area that is in between the 400 and the 500 level where they left one wall of galena. So for this, I am gonna first go 400 feet down this abandoned mine shaft you see behind me to get the galena. And making things a little bit more complicated than normal is I do not have a person to operate the hoist, this cage you see behind me that usually takes me down. So today, I am going to rappel 400 feet down.
Whoa.
And bring the ore back up.
Heavy.
Now I can get down pretty much as fast as the hoist would take me. Getting up will be a little bit slower, so
Oh,
we will
shit.
not take that time into consideration. But the moment I start down, we're gonna start the clock and see how many hours and how much money it takes to take this rock and turn it into pure silver.
Because rappelling back up's not going to be fun. That's your own body weight lifted up. Whoa. Almost dropped it. A little dusty down there.
All right, it has been just over 10 minutes and we're halfway there. I know we are halfway because across from me is the entrance into the 200 level of the Union Mine. And there was a very infamous collapse there in the 1870s. So they boarded it up so more people wouldn't get into there. And that's how far we've come so far. You can see up, that's how far we have to go below us. Can't actually see the bottom, and believe it or not, I actually don't like heights, but I think that the fact that I can't see the bottom of the shaft makes it palatable. If I could see the 900 feet, if it was like outdoors, I don't know if I would be able to do it. But here, I can do it pretty good. And we're just over 10 minutes to get to this point, which is good time. Usually when I go into the 700 foot level in the cage, it takes 45 minutes. So you figure to go to the 400, it should take me 25 minutes or so, maybe even 30, and I think I'll get down there in about 20 rappelling, and then we're gonna get out this galena and continue tracking the progress. But only about 10 minutes in so far, not doing too bad. Gonna keep making our way down.
Making it longer by stalling and telling us. Cheesy music.
All right, now that I got my harness off and all that, it's been just over 25 minutes, and I'm gonna waste no time. We are down at the 400 level of the Union Mine here at Cerro Gordo. Once upon a time, the largest silver mine in California. And luckily, I don't have to do prospecting. I know right where the galena is in this place. Not near this exit sign. That exit sign is actually not correct. But we're going in between the 400 and 500. There's a ledge where the miners were following a vein and they decided to leave this one ledge. And it must have just not been worthwhile for them. You know, if you figure they're taking out so many tons a day that it wasn't worthwhile to them. But for me, it's worthwhile because it's the easiest and most accessible galena left in this mine. And previously, we were headed north, which would have been headed towards the Union Chimney here at Cerro Gordo. And the Union Chimney is an ore deposit that started at the surface and went down about 700 feet. And it's the complementary chimney to the Jefferson Chimney, which is to the south. And those were the two main ore deposits at Cerro Gordo back in the day. And in this case, we're not going to go all the way to the Union Chimney because there it's collapsed at this point. But we are going to go in between the 400 and 500, which is interesting. And this is one area, as you can see, I need to clean up too, where we recently 3D mapped this mine. So if you're interested in where I'm going, we actually came down here and spent over a week with Bishop's University mapping exactly this area down to the dimensions with LiDAR even. I'll link that below. It's an amazing video. It's one of the more proud videos I've ever made.
It's pretty cool. We watched that one about a year ago.
A graph so you can see where I am in relation to the outside. Where we're headed is just up here around the bend. There's a little wormhole where they wanted to go deeper. So right down there is where we're about to go.
We always said that this is how this guy would die. He would be making a video, you know, there's no one there with him. He's alone and he's doing all this crazy stuff in an abandoned mine. And what you'd probably, you know, months will go by and no one will have heard from him. And then the next thing will be like, well, we better go down into the mine and have a look. And they'll find him dead in one of these shafts. I mean, that's probably what would happen, right? You wouldn't catch me going down there alone. I'd have to have someone in radio contact. So in case something, what if you trip? What if you've just abseiled 400 feet vertical? What if you trip over and break an ankle? What if you break a wrist? How are you going to rappel back up? Far out, man. However, we did find out that he was lying about being alone all the time. There are other people there. I wonder if there's someone with him on this mission and they're just off camera. Interesting. Keep an eye on the shadows. That's the clue.
And now we have to continue on our maze down this ore chute. All right, and so here we are. 10 more minutes has passed since we got down the shaft, so we're at about 35 minutes in total before we got to our working area. And this is what we're looking for. That
Galena.
glittery substance you see is galena. And galena is lead and sulfur. And the silver that's in this is actually an impurity. It's like a byproduct. And there's a very small amount of it, but back in the day, they said that the lead, when they sold the lead, that paid for all their operations here, all the costs. And the silver was basically pure profit. And so
Wow.
we're going to get about 10 pounds of this, maybe 15 pounds of this out of here, scurry back up to the top, and start refining this.
It's about 8 kilos, right? Double, you halve it, like 10 pounds would be 5 kilos approx.
Crystallization there, though. That is so pretty. So let's get this hammer out, finally get to work.
And this is where it frightens me, when he starts chipping away at the walls.
Yeah, boy! That's fighting. All right, so we're just over another 10 minutes, so about 45 minutes into our total day. We got our 10 pounds easily, maybe 15 here, and it's so glittery and so shiny and so nice. So we're gonna schlep this back up to the surface. Again, once I get back to the cage, we'll only count it as the same speed down, and I can count my slow ascent because I'm rappelling. But let's get this back up to the top, start refining this, start getting this mass that you see here down to 1 ounce.
I think I'm over it. I think I'm over it. I think I'm over watching this. I don't know. I'm not even really listening to him. I'm just trying to distract myself. Where's my... I didn't break this. Her capacity collapsed. My actions were not the cause. This is what I need to keep reminding myself. I didn't break this. Her capacity collapsed. My actions were not the cause. I didn't break this. Her capacity collapsed. My actions were not the cause. Good. Continue. I get agitated more than ever now. I'm always agitated. I'm always like, I've got to I find myself having to breathe more, like breathe deep and long and hold it more than, like I used to just do that to get to sleep at night, but I'm like that all day. I'm just like, I'm edgy. I'm on edge. I fucking hate it. Fuck.
All right, we're back at the hoist. 15 pounds of galena in the bag. It's feeling a little bit heavier. And we're just about at an hour now. So an hour in to get the material. Now we're headed back up. It's gonna be a slog going back up that ladder with 15 extra pounds of galena in it. So I'm gonna do a little hydration break, and if you've been watching this channel for a while, you know that.
And you're not sliding an ad in that easily for me, buddy. Nice try. This generic music is pissing me off too.
All right, we are back above ground. Time to see how much galena we have. Start getting this stuff down to silver. Took me about an hour to get up the shaft, but we'll only call it 30 minutes. That's how long the cage we're taking. So let's say we're an hour and a half into working now. Now the fun really begins. So we need to take these rocks and turn them into silver. As I said down in the mine, galena is lead, sulfur mainly, and the silver in it is pretty much a byproduct or an impurity almost, and sometimes it can be 1%, less than 1%, maybe if we had a really rich ore, a couple percent. So I'm hoping that we have around 10 to 15 pounds here, and then we're going to start doing the refining down and all that. So I can take my little scale here and start measuring. The final count is 10 pounds, 5.4 ounces of galena. So from this, we're hoping to get at least 1 ounce of pure silver. Real shame if I didn't get enough. So that would be less than 1% silver by weight, so I think we should get there pretty good because some of this galena looks exceptional. And now it is time to crunch it up and see how long it takes to get down to pure silver. And it's interesting going through this whole process. It's like, why does silver have value at all? I found myself thinking that as I was climbing out of the hole. And obviously people have been attracted for a very long time to the shininess of it. Silver is rare, that gives it some value. Silver has utility. We use it in our electronics. We use it in our medical devices. We use it in all sorts of places. But silver also has a lot of work baked into it. You know, it's difficult to get silver out of the ground. And so there's this theory that's called the energy theory of value that I think is very interesting. It basically says, you know, because it takes so much effort and energy to get silver out of the ground, you know, the machinery, the tools, the manpower, then it's going to become more valuable. And not just that, it's a store of value. So you can actually like kind of see human effort represented in the end product of silver, because we all know how much work went into getting it. These days, obviously, silver is an investment too. You guys ever heard of the Hunt brothers and their whole scheme? We can talk about that more, but silver has a value, and I think that it's really cool to think about it that way, that it is a store of human effort, you know, because it's so difficult to do all of this is part of the reason that silver has the value it does. So just keep that in mind as we start hand crushing all this galena up to get into smaller pieces.
Of course, he has a mine there, which would have that equipment to do all that stuff, wouldn't he? He'd have a squasher or a crusher.
All right, so we are about an hour and 45 minutes into work in getting our ounce of silver, and we have the galena crushed up. And so far, there's been no hard costs, you know, just been soft costs. It's been my time, my risk appetite going down the mine and all that. But now we have to introduce our first thing that I actually had to pay for, and that is soda ash. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna heat up the galena to try to get out everything that isn't lead and silver. Again, there's sulfur in here, there's silica, there's some other impurities. We need to pull all of those things out and leave just the heavy metals behind. And to do that, we need a flux, something to promote the fluidity and to basically be that extractor of all things not lead and silver. And for that, I use soda ash. And I got this bucket. It's a 50-pound bucket off Amazon for, I think, 80 bucks maybe, so let's say $1.50 a pound. We'll probably use a pound of it in here to just make sure that we have really a nice fluidity when we're melting this stuff down.
Wait.
Here to just make sure that we have really...
How much did he pay for it? 80 bucks? Okay.
Say $1.50 a pound. We'll probably use a pound of it in here to just make sure that we have really a nice fluidity when we're melting this stuff down. So tally it for the first actual expense at $1.50
Wow.
for 1 pound.
Not really, because you had to buy the whole bucket of it, so you had to have the 80 bucks. Just saying.
Pound of soda ash that's going into our mixture as a nice flux. So we're gonna mix this up, then we're gonna heat it up for a while, and from there, we're gonna continue the process. $1.50 in an hour and 40 minutes, 5 minutes of my time. It feels like we've just begun. So we have our silver smelting away outside, and that means that we just incurred another hard cost. The furnace that is powering the smelt has 2 propane tanks attached to it. These are 20-pound tanks, and right now, down in Old Lone Pine, you can swap out these tanks for about $25 per tank. Now, I'm not gonna use all of the propane, or I hope that I don't use all of the propane in the smelt. So at the end, I'll kind of give them a little feel and see how much of them we used. But the time is ticking and the money is ticking in this excursion to create 1 ounce of silver. And I thought, given that we have to wait for the smelt to happen, that I would recount possibly the craziest story when it comes to silver prices, and trying to manipulate the price of silver. Some of you may know this, but back in the early 1970s, 2 Texas billionaires, heirs to an oil fortune.
What is that filter he keeps using? Watch all the dust particles fly around this image.
70s, 2 Texas billionaires, heirs to an oil fortune, named the Hunt brothers decided that they were getting into the silver market. They thought it was a good hedge against inflation. So beginning in the early 1970s, they started buying up silver, first at $2 an ounce, then $3 an ounce, then $4 an ounce. They kept buying and buying and buying. And by 1979, they controlled 200 million ounces of silver. This is over 1/3 of all the silver available in the world that wasn't stored with a government. And in 1979 alone, they were able to drive the price of silver from about $6 an ounce all the way up to $50 an ounce.
Wow.
And this just created silver mania. People were taking their silverware from their drawer, melting it down, pawning it. They convinced all of their rich friends that, hey, look, this thing has gone up by almost 10% over the past year.
But if you buy up all the supply and you're not selling, if you're buying everything, which they said that they did, which was not, what do you say, 98% of the supply? That's a finite amount, right?
Buy into this, it started driving up the prices of all sorts of things, from film to medical tools that are made from silver, also to jewelry, to a point where Tiffany & Co., the giant jeweler in New York City, put out a statement and they said, "We think it is unconscionable for anyone to hoard several billion, yes, billion, dollars worth of silver and thus drive the prices up so high that others must pay artificially high prices for articles made of silver, from baby spoons to tea sets, as well as photographic film and other products." And if Tiffany & Co., the jeweler, is taking out an ad in the New York Times complaining about the price of silver, that there is an issue at hand. And the real issue for the Hunt brothers was that they weren't just stacking bars of silver down in their basement. They weren't collecting 1 ounce coins and throwing them into a corner. They were trading in futures, so future production and prices of silver. And in 1980, the US government decided, you know what? We don't like these guys from Texas trying to control the price of this commodity, trying to manipulate the markets. And so they put in act a law that said, no, you cannot speculatively trade futures of the silver commodity. And that caused a great problem for the Hunt brothers. Everybody started getting cold feet. They're like, oh no, the government doesn't really like this. The Hunt brothers got called on some of their options. They had to put up some more collateral. They didn't have that collateral to put up because they were over leveraged. And it all went bust. The price of silver dropped from about $50 an ounce all the way down to $11 an ounce. The Hunt brothers lost over $1 billion. They eventually had to declare bankruptcy. They later were fined over $100 million by the US government for trying to manipulate the markets. And that is a cautionary tale.
So they were a whale. They were whales in the silver market. Interesting.
Of trying to control these markets and kind of the craze that can happen around these precious metals or any commodity at different times.
You know what we should do? I think maybe I should be, like, now that, there's no one fucking watching this shit anyway, but maybe I should just be doing crypto streams and like following. I guess I've been a little bit more out of the crypto loop these days just because, I don't know, got my stuff, got my bag. Maybe we should just be doing crypto stuff. I know this isn't really entertaining me. This is just distracting me from my brain tapping back into. This is a good distraction, but it's boring me. And I feel like crypto might be a bit more. If I'm not going to be working, mind you, if I'm not working, then I won't be able to invest in the crypto that I learn about. So it's kind of like, I don't know. Maybe I should go back to work and just work my guts out, work every single shift. Every single shift. I don't know. I'll tell you one thing. My counselor said, don't do anything right now. Don't make any rash decisions. Don't do anything strange. Just stay the course and let this period subside. And I mean, like I am better now. Look at me this time last week. Holy crap! Not like I'm miles better than I was last week. This time, this time last week was the day after she dumped me, and I was not in a good way at all. So there's progress here. There's progress. I guess I should be applauding myself. There is progress. Yeah, there's progress. And I didn't cause this. I didn't break it. Her capacity collapsed. My actions were not the cause. And I'm progressing. Yeah, okay. Maybe I'm just being I'm hard on myself because I shat myself this morning and I really wanted to share it. Imagine I had have shared that with her. And then I go back to counseling and say to this counselor, Beth, I say, hey, by the way, she says, you didn't reach out? I did. Well, why would you do that? And then I say, because I shat myself and I know she'd find it funny. And I can guarantee even in this, well, I don't know because she's in serious mental breakdown, but I reckon if somehow that could get through to her, I know she'd find that funny. But it's not my role to make her laugh. The trouble is I've gone from 6 months sharing everything with this person to now not sharing anything. And black line, I don't even, like she could die and I wouldn't know. Like I legitimately would not know. And I still love her and I still care for her, but I'm just so shut out of it all. And I shat myself. And she'd get a good giggle at that. All right, Tooth Boy, come on, give me some more.
Little old me, I am just trying to make 1 ounce of silver. And so
and this
for now,
fucker's just trying to make an ounce of silver and I'm giving him all this time. I don't know. This just seems dumb to me. I have had a good manicure though here at this period. Manicure's the hands, right? Pedicure's the feet. I've been going off here. What are my nails? They're good. They're all good.
I will think more about the Hunt brothers and we will wait as the smelting continues before we move on to the next step of the process.
That looks rad.
All right, so that was about 30 minutes to smelt and pour this. We're not gonna count the cooling time, but it is cool. And now in theory, if everything went right, you see this cone. The heavy metals, meaning in this case, our lead and silver, should be at the bottom. The top should be a very crumbly crust called slag. So that soda ash that we put in pulled out all the impurities that isn't the lead and silver and are holding it up top. And so after this, we should have a cone of just lead and silver, which I used to refine it down to up here at Cerro Gordo. We have more to do then, but for now, let's make sure that things are going the right way. So we're gonna flip this over.
Bam.
Make sure we got some silver. All right, now we have our pyramid of pretty much just lead and silver. You can see how malleable it is, where it's solid, but you can bend it because of the lead content. So that rock that we saw down in the mine just a few hours later is now this. This is all of the slag, so the waste material. And now what we need to do,
I always love that
measure.
that term, you slag. Sounds so aggressive. Throw the slag out and keep the silver.
how much we have, because remember, we started with 10 pounds of galena, but the galena would have had sulfur, silica, other waste materials that we don't need. This should be just lead and silver. And we are all the way down, holy cow. We are down to 3 pounds, 5.9 ounces out of all of that. So, we lost a lot right there.
Slag weighs a lot.
But that's okay. We have a pyramid now. We're hoping out of this about 3 pounds, 6 ounces that we will have our ounce of silver in it. And so the next part is the fun part.
The next what? The next tart? What did he say?
We'll have our ounce of silver in it. And so the next part is the fun part.
He messes up his words a bit. He meant to say the next part, but he said the next start?
That we will have our ounce of silver in it. And so the next part is the fun part. It's to go from this to try to convince the silver that's in here to leave this. And there's a couple ways you can do that. The way that we're going to do is called the Parks process, where we're going to melt this back down. We're going to introduce zinc into here. The silver that's all within this is going to bind to the zinc and float on top of the molten lead. We're going to scrape that off, then we're going to burn off the zinc, and finally we'll be left with pure silver. And that's a process that's going to take a little bit to melt this back down. Not bad now that we got the impurities out of here. And this part of the process would have been done not at Cerro Gordo back in the day. So we're doing a part beyond it they normally do. But we need pure silver, so we need to get to it so we don't lose too much daylight. But for now, we got 3 pounds, 6 ounces of lead and silver.
Is there a typo there? Yeah, removing silver. That's not how you spell silver, is it? Silver. There's no I after the L. S-I-L-V-E-R. S-I-L-I-V-E-R? No. No, that's incorrect, Toothboy. Silver. Sounds nice though. Silver. Don't drop it.
All right, we're back. Add another 30 minutes to the clock for the time to heat that up, put the zinc out, scrape it off, come on back. And the first little bit, there's some excess flux in the crucible that I was using. So there's a little bit of sticky stuff. So there's really only one corner over here. This corner, where I believe that I have all of the silver and the zinc. And what we're gonna do now is add another hard cost. I'm gonna take this and put it into one of these, which is known as the cupel. And a cupel is going to oxidize all of the non-precious metals. So any of the lead that I might have accidentally scooped up, any of the slag that's still on here, I'm gonna clean up more. We're gonna put it here, and this is gonna get down to just the pure silver. And I got these in bulk, so these cost me about $1.50 a piece. So add another $1.50 to the chart, and another 30 minutes. And what we have to do again is heat this back up to the point of melting point. When we get off the little pieces of slag left, then we're gonna melt this down and finally have our pure silver. Now don't forget, as a little bonus, we do have this little bit of lead. This is the excess lead that came as part, it's still a little hot, that came as the rest of the galena. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weigh up the lead, weigh up the silver, see how much we lost in that part of the step. And lead does have some value. I think it's about $1 a pound or so. So we'll add that back on to the charts in the credit column, not the debit column, but let's clean this one up a little bit. Let's weigh this and continue the quest for 1 ounce of silver. It's been a long day already, we're not done yet, so it's not easy. That stored human energy in the value of this is starting to make a lot of sense to me. All right, so here's what I believe to be all of our silver, maybe a little bit of lead and a little bit of slag. So we need to take this and put in the cupel. This is the extra lead that came out when we did it. I cooled it down with a little water. Now let's see how much we have left. We started with 10, then we whittled it down more, and now we are down to 3 pounds total. So we're shrinking each time. We're shrinking some poundage, but that's pretty good. So put that off to the side. And right now, this says 6.3. So there's actually probably a decent amount of lead in here. What I'm actually gonna have to do, I hate to do it, but we are going to have to add another cupel to the mix. This is gonna be too much to oxidize in just one of these. I'm gonna cut this in half. I'm gonna use 2 cupels. So for that, add another $1.50 to our hard cost. I'm gonna cut this in half and we'll get both of these going and get down to pure silver. All right, so I split it in half with my axe over here. So now we're gonna put one in this and one in this. Remember, each of these used $1.50 each. This is $3 more in hard cost right there. Now, to save a little bit of money, I'm gonna use this electric furnace to heat up the cupels and get our pure silver. This thing's made by Pepe Tools, and this is gonna save us the propane cost. I couldn't use it because it's very small, so I couldn't fit the amount that we had earlier in it. And I just weighed the propane out there. I kind of held them both up, and it seems that they're about 2/3 full each. So if we used 1/3 out of each, that means I used 2/3 of one tank, which means at a price of 25, that's another 16 bucks in propane gone. So 16 bucks in propane, 3 bucks here. We'll get these into here. We'll get the final tally of how long this is gonna take to get down to an ounce of pure silver.
This better be worth it.
So we're getting down to it. The cupel is taking out all of the lead and leaving behind our pure silver. And just for a comparison's sake, back when Cerro Gordo was the largest silver mine in California, the miners working here were paid $4 a day below ground and $3 a day above ground. And that was for 12-hour shifts. And if we adjust that for inflation, let's choose 1880 as our example, that would be about $120 a day below ground and about $90 a day above ground. And so that's what, about $10 an hour below ground and about $7.50 an hour above ground. And I think minimum wage right now is like 16 bucks an hour in California, so they weren't even getting minimum wage, but times are different. You know, I looked up around the state, around the country wages, and it seems that about $2.50 to $3 is pretty common for rock breakers or common miners. You know, there's reports that gold miners in California were getting about $4 a day. So what they're paying here wasn't out of the ordinary or terribly, you know, low, but you know, times have changed. And so we're coming up on 4 hours in this process, and we have to get our 1 ounce of silver, and we have all these hard costs. So we're gonna have some math to do in a minute, but for now we're waiting. We still have one other half to go to get it down to pure silver. So we'll just see what happens. And
the thing that amazes me about this process, if anything, which is not much, but the idea of how all of this was discovered, like who was the first person to say that shiny rock over there in that fucking wall of a mountain, if I took that and then did this to it and then added this to it and then melted it and then added this and then added that and did this, you'd come out with this one other thing. And that thing has value. Like to get all these steps, right, all this process and all these different things that they've got to do, who discovered it? How did they, like, was there a person who did only half of the steps and never got to the actual end of it? And then someone went, oh, maybe we should add some slag to this or whatever that step was. And then they finally come out with this silver thing. Like, that's more interesting than the actual doing of the thing isn't as interesting as how the thing was discovered to me. But look at his face there. He's loving it. Look at that big red beard. He's a scary looking man with that beard. Whoa.
That silver. So we'll just see what happens and compare.
Every now and then he gets a little.
Get it down to pure silver. So we'll just see what happens and compare that to what they did back in the day. Getting close. As I peek over the lid, you can see kind of the surface tension changing as the silver is getting more pure. You know, all of the lead is oxidizing down into this porous cupel. And so that's going away and the surface tension is changing. So you can see it's zoom, 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 zoom. It seems to just be like purifying itself as you look into there. Soon it's gonna get to the brightening phase. And brightening, basically, the bead is gonna look almost metallic or almost mirror-like when it gets pure, pure, pure. It's gonna stop so much of those little zoomies and it's just gonna look like this.
Did he say zoomies? He didn't just say zoomies.
It's gonna stop so much of those little zoomies.
Oh my God. Zoomies? Fuck. Really? Zoomies is... Man. My ex's dog used to run around crazy and she called her zoomies. Jeez. Seriously?
Like this pure,
Fuck, you have to
beautiful
say the word
silver
zoomies.
mass, and that's when we know we're down to pure silver. That's when we have to cut it because we don't want to oxidize this beyond what we need to. So we're getting close to this first one, then it's on to the second, and then
She'd send me videos of him bouncing around all crazy outside, running around zoomies. I want to go down and steal the dog. I want to take that dog. Fuck you, tooth boy. Saying the word zoomies just like it doesn't mean anything. I've been holding myself pretty damn well and you have to fucking use the word zoomies. Nice one.
finally, we will have our ounce of silver and we will tally the results. All right, and here are two ends. And you can see this is the first one I put in. This was a larger bit and you can see the oxidation. See that little ring? That is the lead absorbing into the cupel. And this cupel feels very heavy. It was the first one and there's some impurities in the furnace already. So you see actually some zinc that's oxidized on it. The second one is looking good. This one I feel very confident about. So there is some.
Oh, break it, dude.
And I don't like how this one is. You can see even through it, it feels heavy. It's absorbed a lot of lead. So unfortunately, if we want a pure silver ounce, I hate to do this, but we need to introduce another hard cost. We're going to combine these one more time into cupel to make sure that we get very pure silver. We're almost there. It is the moment we have all been waiting for to finally reveal pure silver after all of these hours. And there, ooh, it popped out clean. That's a good sign. You can see in the bottom, there's some oxidation going on. And now it's time woo, to see what it weighs. Let's hope that we have at least an ounce here. 1.3 ounces. Let's double check on the other scale, just because this one is a little larger scale. We're gonna check the smaller scale, get a double reading. Got this going on. Move this over here. 1.2. So here it is, just over 1 ounce of pure silver, pulled out from pretty much 500 feet directly below where I am standing. And it has been a journey to get here, and now it is the moment of truth, the time to tally everything up. And how much did it cost me to create this 1 ounce of silver? We will start with the hard cost. First, we had our soda ash, which acted as our flux, which was $1.50, about that much worth of soda ash. Next, we had the propane, and I used about 2/3 of a tank to create this, so that worked out to about $16.50 worth of propane. Then, we ended up using 3 different cupels at about $1.50 a piece. That works out to about $4.50. So in total, the cost, hard costs of this silver was $22.50. And right now in the open market, an ounce of silver is going for about $30. And so if we do that math, that is what? $7.50. And that is not taking into account the time that it took to create this. And if we expedite it and don't take into account too much of the other extra time of climbing and filming, stuff like that, there's about 5 hours of work to create this. And so if we take our 750 and we divide it by 5, works out to about $1.50 per hour. And given that the minimum wage in California right now is $16, that's about 1/10 of the minimum wage is what I made by creating this silver. Now listen, I understand economies of scale. I know that at a mining company, they would have been a lot more efficient. They would have had bigger machines that would have been able to do larger batches at once. They would have been able to buy things in bulk, so their material costs would have gone down. They would have had expertise that I might not have. You know, I might have lost something just because I don't know it as well as they do. But all that said, the point of this was how much it cost me to make 1 ounce of silver. And as you can see, it cost me pretty much about what it is worth. And so, if anything, this whole experience has left me with just a better appreciation for everything that goes into all of the things around us. You know, in the holiday season, when you have those silver forks on your table, it was really hard to do those. There was a lot of man hours baked into those forks. And that's something that I just hope you keep in mind, and allows you to appreciate more of the things around you. And as far as appreciating things around me, I very much appreciate you guys checking out these videos. I appreciate you sticking with the video to the very end. And so as I was cleaning up my shop, I found this mold. This mold makes bullets, actually. So I think I'm going to melt this back down and make a pure Cerro Gordo silver bullet. So you can use it for werewolves or whatever else you might use it for. And I'm gonna give it away to one of you guys watching this video. If you made it this far,
That's pretty nice.
it's free to enter. There's gonna be a link down below. Sign up. I hope to be able to give this to one of you guys to have in your home. And other than that, thank you guys so much. I always appreciate you guys checking out these videos. You guys have made the last 4 years of my life the best 4 years ever. And so till next time, I'm signing out. I'll see you later. Check below for more on this bullet.
Tooth Boy, I guess that competition is well and truly over, given that this is 11 months ago. I guess the winner might have already been here. No. Sort by newest comments. Yeah, I thought there might have been an update, but you'd be better off just buying Bitcoin. But anyway, it has been a good distraction method for me. I mean, I have been good. He said zoomies and that fucked me right over, but I have been pretty good, all told. And what is it now? A week and a day. It's 8 days since she dumped me, and I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm keeping busy. Kind of. Yeah, it is what it is. There's no one here anyway, so thanks for, well, I guess Woz came in at the start. Thanks for swinging in and saying hello. I'm just trying to distract myself.
Started out alive, man, that was the play. Screaming every
And I am
building up the sway. But as the sight faded, I had to find my way. Now I'm hopping platforms, surfing through the fray. Got my crew behind me, yeah, we call them givers. Chilling IRL, catching all the rivers. Sparkle in the chat, bringing lost to the grind. Talking crypto games while we sipping Jack Fine. Gives a minute, yeah, we take our time. Living in the moment, the life's a subtle rhyme. From the land down under, streaming through the night. New Zealand's vibe, surfing waves day to night. Always looking for the